So our friend Michael is dealing with a sudden heartbreak. Essentially, a woman that he's loved, and she's loved him for well over a year, with the perfect relationship, in Michael's mind at least. He goes on and on and on about how madly and deeply in love they were with one another, and if they weren't only 20 years old, he would have asked her to marry him. The significance placed on the amount of the heaviness of love in his heart needs to be expressed here. And anybody who's been madly, stupid in love, because really it's a letting go of our head when we fall in love. I mean, you totally become a different person. You're walking on clouds. This is, I understand, Michael wants us to understand his feelings, and that has to be brought to light. Deeply in love. But out of nowhere, she decides to break up with him, right? This is all like a shock to our friend, and he doesn't know what to do. He's caught between this place of, I've been devastated. A part of me has been taken away. Something that I want, that I'm so attached to, that has been serving me. This relationship, you have been ripped out of my life so suddenly. That's painful. Especially when he's fallen. When you fall in love, you're literally resting on that person. If that person slips, boom, you fall on the floor. Michael is flat on his fucking face because the love of his life has left him. Not only is he confused about what the hell just happened, but apparently his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend is in a place where she's describing the need to move further on the path of her personal development. There are things that she needs to go do or explore or achieve, whatever the case may be, in order for her to feel like a full person. And the reality is we've got to feel full in ourselves before we can have a mature relationship with another individual. If you've got two halves that are codependent and you rip them apart, then you've got two empty people, broken. But if you've got two whole people, right? And it's all a process. We're never fully whole. But two people who are on the journey of becoming stronger versions of themselves individually and then decide to join each other on that path, you're in a far more resourceful place than neediness, right? So she has this aching within her to go and fill some other gaps that she's, right? Some other gaps, not her vagina, that she feels are not being fulfilled with you by her side, okay? And my heart goes out to you. Empathy, 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 empathy. I want to read, I don't do this very often, but I want to read just a paragraph out of a book that I often reference, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. This is probably the best definition of the meaning of love that I've read. Now, there are so many different ways to look at love, different angles that are all resourceful. This is a really good one. And I want to read it to you here because it's going to help you. Beyond the fact that every experience, every challenging experience that you have is a chance to grow stronger. So I'm grateful for your pain, right? I've said this hundreds of times. So if you've been watching my channel for long enough, my assumption is that you know I'm going to say, good, you're feeling some pain, huh? Right? Because that's all going to contribute to you growing stronger. You've got to have challenges. If there are no challenges in your life, there's no growth. So this is a good thing. That's the very first place you should proceed from. It is, okay, how am I growing stronger through this challenge? What do I have to learn? What can I learn through this challenge? What part of me am I being shown or asked to strengthen through this challenge? Always subjective. Always go in first. Right? Always, 100% of the time, with all of your dealings that seem extrinsic, meaning other people or circumstances, always go in first. That needs to be said before I start reading stuff, because I don't want to just sprinkle some fluffy shit, you know, some sprinkles on the poop in order to make it look like it's something that it's not, right? We can't just beat around the bush here. The fact is, you're dealing with some pain, you need to go in first, right? Figure yourself out. The second thing is to now figure out how you want to look at the situation with this woman. Love is the only way to grasp another human being. In the innermost core of his personality or her personality, no one can become fully aware of the essence of another human being unless he loves her. By his love, he's enabled to see the essential traits and features in which the beloved person, and even more, he sees that which is potential in her. So you see the potential. You see the strongest version of her in her when you see that person's innermost, right? Which is not yet fully actualized, but ought to be actualized. Furthermore, by his love, the loving person enables the beloved person to actualize these potentialities, right? Through your love, that person becomes the strongest version of themselves. By making her aware of what she can be and of what she should be, he makes these potentialities come true. Basically, what Viktor Frankl is saying here is that true love is seeing the strongest version of someone in them, their innermost core, looking at that person and seeing all they can be, and then centering your purpose for that person around serving them to become that. Giving all you have to support that person in becoming the strongest version of themselves. That is your only objective. You're not in charge of her. You don't own her. When you love someone, you don't own them. See, that's a big mistake that we have. Even with regard to marriage, I'm married, but I don't own my wife. Right? When you're in a loving relationship with someone, you don't own that person, and that person doesn't own you. What you've decided to do is to support each other in becoming stronger versions of each other. You've decided to open your hearts up so that you can see each other at their inner core. Her at her inner core and you at your inner core, and then do everything in your life, everything in your power to show back that person a mirror reflection of the beauty that you see in them, the strongest version that you see in them, and then doing everything that you can to help bring that out of that person. Right? That's your only objective. It's not to snuggle and cuddle and hold on to and schmoopy, moopy, and own that person, make that person a plaything for you, because that's what we do. That person tickles me in a particular way that makes me feel good. And then, eventually that tickling goes away and you're no longer in love, right? The fact is that the real truth of a mature relationship is not in ownership, it's in support of the other person. Now, if you truly love her, right? And I'm asking you to do a number of things here. You've got to go in, become introspective, become a stronger version of yourself first. That's always first. Become a stronger version of yourself. Knuckle up. Knuckle up. Become stronger. And it doesn't mean become callous. It doesn't mean become cold. It doesn't mean become hard. It doesn't mean stuffing your tears in. It means become very subjective. Become very self-reflective. Become very aware of what's going on inside you. Become very self-aware. That's what my invitation is always about here, guys. It's going in and figuring out who you are, what you're all about, that strongest version of yourself, so that you can see it and make that come out, right? You've got to do that first. This might be a good opportunity for you to take a few weeks and say, you know what, babe, you're right. I need to do some of that also, right? You don't want to be that needy partner. It's like, no, baby, don't leave me, right? Because she will resent you even more. You need to actually do what she's doing, and it's to go in and figure some shit out where you can become stronger, right? She's showing you a weakness in you right now by leaving you and you feeling all this vulnerability. That needs to be patched up. And then support her in becoming the strongest version of herself, regardless of what that looks like. See, a lot of times we want them to look like a particular image of a stronger version of themselves that we've made up. And the way that is going to happen, the path towards becoming the strongest version of the fucking image you have in your head, we like to make up. But if you really love a person, you've got to let them go to travel the path that their heart is taking them on and to become that which their heart desires. It's going to be very different for every single person. It's going to be tremendously different for every single person. No two people are going to experience the same path, and no two people are going to have the same end. But if you truly love someone and you see that they're doing it through purity of purpose and groundedness, right? See, a lot of you guys are too I use the term immature because it's just a misunderstanding. You don't understand Elliot Hulse when he says, follow your heart or invite other people to follow their hearts. There's a difference between allowing someone to follow their hearts that's a pure calling, that's grounded, and someone who's hysterical. And it's like, if she decides like, I just want to like kill raccoons and live in a makeshift cardboard box, right? That's like, okay, babe, that's probably a little bit neurotic. There's something else going on there. Let's talk. Right? But then again, I don't know. You've got to sense these things. You got to sense these things. You've got to get in touch with that person's inner core. And if you feel that she's moving from her inner core on a journey that's going to support her in becoming the strongest version of herself, dude, you got to let go. You totally got to let go. And if she comes back, that means you were meant to be on the journey further along together. You gotta separate. You gotta separate to come back together again. You gotta grow stronger as individuals to come together again as a unit. Right? You don't want a needy bitch on your hands, and she doesn't want a whiny pussy, right? Lack of a man on her hands. You both need to become stronger versions of yourselves. And that happens independently. It doesn't happen together. Support her the best you can. If supporting her basically means leave her alone, don't contact her like she's asking you to, that's fine. The care in your heart will allow you to do that. Maybe watch her from afar. Say prayers, right? That might sound strange. Say fucking prayers, right? Who the hell tells you to say prayers, right? I'm not even a Christian. I'm telling you to say some fucking prayers. Get on your hands and knees. Because that is an energetic expression of love. That is you sharing, expressing and reaching out that feeling that you have to her without actually being there with her. Send her good vibes, that's another way to say it. Meditate on her, okay? And that's it, man. That's the best you can do, right? Toughen up and say some prayers. Peace.